All this one now. And since z directional coordinate z is not there, essentially a 2D function. An important idea is if stream function is given, how we will find out the velocity components. Velocity component and v. The 2D flow field means you are having velocity vector say v that is given by I plus this is the velocity vector. So each component of velocity is equal to the derivative of partial derivative of stream function with respect to y coordinate. So in order to get the velocity component in the x direction, take the derivative of partial derivative of stream function with respect to, that is by definition. And then v, y component of velocity v, partial derivative with respect to x coordinate. Second one is you that partial derivative of stream function with respect to the stream function x squared y minus y cube. Have to take the partial derivative with respect to y. What will be that? With respect to y, if you take when x is constant, you will get 3x squared minus what is that? 3x squared minus 3y square is equal to now minus partial psi by partial x. So that is minus dou by dou x of. Okay, so del by del x of what? 3x square y minus y cube. What is that with respect to x when you differentiate? But remember, there is a negative sign in front of that, minus. So with respect to x, we will get 3x square. So 3 into x squared, derivative of x squared is 2x. 3 into 2 x, y is a constant, and the second part it is 0. We get is just minus 6xy. Okay. So now at the point, we will try to find out the first case. At the point 1, 2. So at 1, 2 is this component of velocity. Now we have to find out both components, u and v, and then find the resultant velocity. So u will be at x is equal to 1, and y is equal to, and you find out u is equal to 3x square minus 3y square. 3x squared minus 3y square. So it is 3 minus 3, 12 minus 9. So you get and v now. So what about v? 9 you get, and v is 1 5 is 2 12. Have referring minus 9, and at the point 1, 2, that is our answer. So at 1, the answer minus 9 and v minus 12, right, unit, and then resultant velocity, then right, always better. Resultant velocity in terms of vector and in terms of magnitude. Resultant vector, then that is u I cap plus that is minus, right, minus 9i minus 12 velocity. Resultant velocity we found out, in fact that's a vector, but the magnitude, its magnitude that is square plus squared plus minus 12. Square 50 that resultant magnitude. And similarly, you can find out velocity at the other point. It's like stream function. You have another scalar mathematical function called velocity potential function, and it is represented by this function is represented by phi, potential function phi. So how do we find out? This is much more simpler because the velocity vector, let us say v I plus j, the wk also. See this stream function, basically stream function is defined for 2D field, whereas velocity potential function can be defined for 3D flow field also. So if you want u, velocity component u from the velocity potential function, take the partial derivative of phi with respect to x itself. So if you want x component of velocity, you differentiate the velocity potential function phi partially with respect to x, and t component you take the partial derivative with respect to y, and w component, if you want, if at all it is involved, then the partial derivative with. Remember, stream function is defined for function defined for find 2D field, defined for velocity potential. So you can have okay. So that is the idea. So this, if you know u is equal to del phi by del x, del phi by del y, and w is equal to del phi by del z, then definitely you find out the velocity components from velocity potential function, or is simply called potential function. Okay. And if the flow is irrotational, then only velocity potential function phi exists. Velocity potential function exists. The flow is irrotational. Means fluid elements during the flow will not rotate about its axis. So if you say psi stream function, psi is equal to constant. When you use this format, psi is equal to constant. If you write, then that represents stream lines. Stream lines. And if phi is equal to constant, velocity potential function, phi is equal to constant, that really represents another set of flow lines. So represents, those lines are called constant, represents potential lines, or what you call EQ potential lines, EQ phi potential lines. Okay. Phi is equal to constant and phi is equal to, and represents respectively stream lines and potential lines. And you may be asked many times, in examination, may be asked to establish a relationship or a connection between the two stream lines, lines, and how are they related? Two lines are lines and equipotential lines. Lines are actually orthogonal. That means they are inclined at 90 degrees to one another. They are perpendicular to each other. Orthogonal. That's an important idea. For example, if you have directional coordinate axis like this, you have, say, this is y axis and the x axis, and if you have series of stream lines and equipotential lines, that is like are stream lines, say psi is equal constant psi is equal to constant C. Then equipotential lines, if you draw in the same flow field, then that will be somewhat, can represent them like directions. Okay, so equipotential lines then make like this. Wherever they intersect, you know, that intersection, the tangent at the points of intersection, if you draw, they will be, you know, 90 degrees. The tangent. This is actually a network of streamlines and equipotential lines. Equipotential lines means, okay, this one, let's say phi is equal to a constant C1 dash. One say phi is equal to a constant C2 dash, and this one phi is equal to constant C3 dash, etc. And then they will form a series of like a network like this, and this kind of network, this kind of graphical representation, is actually called what? A flow net. So visualizing the flow field, this is really advantageous. So this graphical representation is what we call flow net. And these streamlines and equipotential lines, and how do you prove them to be orthogonal? So you will find the product of slope from the equations, or rather the expressions for stream function is equal to constant, velocity potential function is constant. Respectively, they represent streamlines and equipotential lines. So the product of slopes, product of their slope minus 1. Analytical geometry you must have studied. Whenever two lines are inclined at 90 degrees to each other, then the product of their slopes will be equal to minus 1. Here also that will happen. And that proof we have done earlier. So just I don't want to repeat that. There is another important equation which we study, continuity equation for say incompressible, like density is constant, incompressible flow, incompressible density constant. So the continuity equation, 3D Cartesian format, important. 3D Cartesian coordinate system. So we usually write in terms of the velocity components. So partial by partial x plus partial v by partial y, w divided by partial z, and this is. So this is actually the continuity equation. Important one you have to. And for a physical case of a possible flow field, the velocity components must satisfy the continuity equation. So this is a very important equation you have to keep in mind. This is basically for incompressible. If it is compressible, then the density part also should be taken into consideration. The time part also will come. Condition for irrotationality. So that means if you are given the velocity vector, let's say v is equal to y plus vj plus wk, then if these velocity components are given, how do you find out? The condition for irrotationality is this. We take curl of the velocity vector. This is a mathematical concept. Curl of the velocity vector, and that must be equal to 0. Curl of the velocity vector, if it is 0, means zero vector, then the flow will be irrotational, not rotational, irrotational. The curl. So curl of velocity vector means, how do you find out? Mathematically we write vector operator del, or it is also called nabla. So this vector operator del cross, it's a cross product, del cross v, right, like this. And how do you find out curl? Curl of the velocity vector means, like operationally you can find out this by a 3 by 3 determinant. So the vector I cross product is vector. Two vectors is also vector. I then have coefficient of ijk in del operator, that is del by del x, del by del y, del by z. Then the velocity components and w. Just operate this 3 by 3 determinant and then make sure that so curl. So this is how you find out curl. So if curl, I'll write it again because that's so important. If the curl of the velocity vector is equal to 0, that is del cross v is equal to 0, then the flow is irrotational. Okay, that keep in mind, flow is irrotational. Okay, so this is a very important part, and you can, if you have u, v, and w, suppose u, v, and w are given, definitely you will be in a position to find out the curl of the velocity vector, and then in that case, if that happens to be a zero vector, then the flow is rotational. If it is not a zero vector, if that curl of velocity vector exists, then the flow is rotational. And this curl of velocity vector is also drawn by another vector. What is it called? Vorticity vector. Vorticity vector. It is actually twice the angular velocity components. So it's vorticity vector, and the angular velocity vector they are represented by velocity vector is twice the angular velocity vector. These are the important basic ideas in kinematics of this. I wind up. Thank you.